What do you do when someone condemns, criticizes, or insults you? We're going to talk about the best advice I've ever heard. All right, welcome to one of my favorite times of the week, though it seems like I'm always having to jam it in, this podcast. Greatness from small beginnings, and I get advice and I pass it along. I get lists of ways to see things and I pass them along. I use this for therapy, as you all know. I use this to make myself better, and this one certainly will. Best piece of advice I heard recently on what to do when someone insults you or they're casting judgment upon you. If someone's casting judgment upon you, especially if it's completely unfounded or unfair, then it's criticism, it's condemnation. And what do you do then? So we're going to get into it. This will be a short one because this is great advice. And the reason I like it so much is because it's short and succinct. What do you do? This guy said 5 to 7 seconds of silence. Give him nothing. Give him no expression. Give him painful silence for 5 to 7 seconds. Gives you a minute to figure out what to do next. And there is a suggestion here that I think is a great suggestion. Here's the things to remember during those 5 to 7 seconds is that you need to see those words as something that you can actually see and that you can throw a shield up in that first second. The words come your way, hit, and drop. They drop to the table, they drop to the ground, they drop to the floor where they're not impacting you. That's a good mechanism. And then ask them in your head, not directly, but are you proud of that you just said? Are you good with what you just said? Or is that good? And then remember that what we often do in this world, in the environment we're in, is that we're used to when someone throws something to catch it. Put up a glove, put up a hand, but to catch it. And in this case, you just need to block it or avoid it. Just move off to the side, let it go past, or shield that blocks it to the table. But I am not obligated to take that. Whatever it is you just said that insults me, condemns me, criticizes me, makes me less than God made me, and I don't need to take it. So to use the analogy of a game, like it's a challenge to catch things that people throw. It's a challenge, and we need to remember that it's probably a bigger challenge for us to let it go, let it land somewhere else. And for me, that certainly is. I took an assessment recently, a lot of introspection in this assessment. It wasn't this 30-minute or 30-second or 3-minute deal. It was a lot of time thinking about what the guy called my prisoner words. What are the things that keep surfacing back up that create a prisoner within my own heart? Then I'm a prisoner to the thing that I'm feeling or acting. And my 4 prisoner words, he said, get 4, are weak and small, but I was a small guy. And weakness, I just hated it in others and myself. So it's weak, small. The next one is pride. And there's a reason behind that. And that's the one I argued the most about. And then the other one was defensiveness. So when someone lobs something my way and I go to catch it, instead of ducking, letting it fall, putting up a shield, my pride, my ego won't let me not catch it sometimes. And my defensive mechanism is also there to put up my hand, pretend it's a softball mitt, a glove to catch it. And then now that I have it, I'm required to do something with it. And my defensive side will then launch back, pick it up, throw it back. Hopefully I can throw it fast enough where something back at them fast enough where they can't even react. Those things create a prison around me, inside of me, which I should not and don't want to be. So the other thing that he says that's really good, also a piece of simplicity. So most of the just happened is going on in your mind because the only behavior you're having is silence and trying to be very melancholy about your facial expressions and all of that. Those are the only 2 behaviors. One is just, I'm not going to accept that. But the next thing that he suggests is something super disarming. Actually, it's going to probably cause some anger, perhaps, is for the sake of understanding what you just said, man, woman, whoever's across from you, I would like you to repeat that, or just ask, can you repeat that? So make sure I get it. And they will very likely, so if they've said an insult, cast judgment, condemned or criticized you, they're going to realize as it comes out of their mouth that what they did was foolish. It was foolhardy. Shouldn't have done it, at least not in the way they did. You ask them to repeat it, and it's putting the foolhardiness exactly where it belongs, not on you, but on them. But give it 5 to 7 seconds, maybe even a touch longer, to ask the question, could you repeat that? And then if you have that kind of relationship that you want to restore, store, keep in decent shape, you might say, because I really want to understand where I messed up here and see what they have to say. And then you're exposing the kind of the that came out of them. And you're also, for yourself, kind of handling that defensive side, that side that says, I don't need to be ugly back. I really want to understand where this is coming from. If you're just in a bad mood, well, that's one thing. You shouldn't do this then. But if you really have something to say to me, I'm willing to listen. But what that question does, it puts the spotlight on the behavior. And behavior can be apologized for and it's redeemable, no problem. But if they're coming at you with a character flaw, it's still only pointing at their behavior in that moment. If they're coming after you and that's their character flaw, the only way to help them in this little bit is to point out the behavior that is revealing the character flaw. And I think it's brilliant. Being great is how to handle some of the worst, some of the hardest conversations, some of the hardest things that might come your way is, first of all, 5 to 7 seconds of silence. And then if they don't apologize, if it doesn't start coming around by the end of that time, say, can you repeat that? The one that I heard say this said, I've never had anybody take me up on it. But I've been under some immense criticism at times, and I think the person that's dealt out the most probably would at times at least rephrase and try to help me understand where I've messed up. But wouldn't that be helpful? Because I can't change anything, as I know. So there you go. So let me read the thing that has made me as great as anything else that I have in my life. My good friend Zig Ziglar, he said most things, but soon I'm going to be doing a podcast just with some of his quotes. You were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with seeds of greatness. You were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. I know that's you because I know it's me, and I'm as fallible as anybody you can imagine. I'm a mess, and yet I know these things are true because God put them in me. Greatness is where we're headed. Greatness is where I'm headed. Am I going to get all the way there? I don't know, but I want to get closer, and that by itself is worship to the God that made me. So greatness was from small beginnings. We all have plenty of small beginnings. Now, here's the call to action. Now, my friend, go be great.